Hey, it's Adam, Avalon Auto, Alpharetta, Georgia. Working on an old LX. It's a 2000 LX470 tilt and telescope motors have gone out. You can hear the telescope chirp a little bit, but does not work. The tilt is just completely inop. So I ordered these from Partsook. I order a lot of parts from them. Great supplier. These were like, I want to say almost $400 a piece from my local Lexus dealer. And I think they were closer to $220 or something like that a piece from Partsook. I'm going to do the telescope one first because that one seems to be the easiest. It's just two 10 millimeter, well, a little bit more than two 10 millimeter bolts. Much easier to just remove your seat, get it out of the way. You drop the plastic shroud here, unconnect all their stuff. There's a couple Phillips heads at the bottom, and then the metal shroud. There's going to be 10 millimeters, I think 4 of them that hold that on. I removed this ductwork just to give myself a little more space. There's 1 or 2 other videos, not many videos on this on YouTube. Most of them are for like an LS430, which there are quite a few of, but it's a little bit different. And there's one for the 100 series for this motor I'm doing. So once you remove all this, there's going to be 2 10 millimeter bolts we're going to take out, and 1 connector. And so this one will literally just slide out of it, and then you'll slide the new one in. You will want to pay attention to where your gears are. So this one's right about in the middle. One of the guys, and I'm going to make this, I'm going to cut and paste this video. So depending on where I'm at, I may take these bolts off here and run the motor all the way out, and then push the steering column down, and then reattach everything just so it doesn't ever come off track. Because if you put this motor in and it's all the way up, it's starting from scratch basically, so it's going to kick it right off its track. At least that's what the other video showed. This one looks a bit more involved. I haven't done one before, but I'm about to. So once I figure out how to get it out, I'm gonna keep on going with this video. All right, so got the new motor swapped in. It's just the 210s. Once you drop it, it basically falls out. This little connector rod here will fall out as well. You just want to reinsert that in both sides, and now we've got it working. But again, this is all the way in without any adjustment on this now. So I've got to take this off, push the column all the way in, and then reattach it. Because as it is now, this column is about to walk itself right off the track. We don't want that. So we're going to go all the way in for the motor. And then I don't have enough room for my, walking. Goodness gracious, these are torqued. Got my little baby wrench working overtime for that. Oop, sorry for the quality. Oh, Jesus. All right, so once you break those free, I'm going to do this much easier with 2 hands. So I'm gonna stop and cut this video. All right, so yeah. When you take this off, when you install this new motor, you're going to take these 2 10 millimeter bolts off, pull this top bracket off, force the steering wheel all the way down its shaft, and then you have to, there's a little bushing inside of this, and inside the bushing is like one flat-sided nut that you have to spin down to line back up with these holes. So now that it is all lined up, this is the max out, it stops. And we're going to bring it down to the max bottom, and it stops. So, telescope motor, pretty straightforward. Not a bad job at all. Now, onto this tilt motor. This one, I think, needs a little bit more disassembly. A little scared of it, but hey, let's get her done. All right, so telescope motor, you've got 2 H6s, Allens. This is H6. I got an impact set, and there's going to be 2 bolts on either side. Once you release those bolts, you'll be able to just lift the steering wheel up. Pretty nice. And then to get this out, you unconnect the bottom of it and literally spin it out. So, well, it sounded easier than it might be, but I think there's a little retaining clip I might need to remove. Let me two-hand this thing and see how quick it is. All right, yeah, I had a retaining clip, and looks like you need to transfer these retaining clips. One big C-clip goes to the bottom of this one, and then once you reinstall, you'll add the C-clip back. And it does just spin in and out once you remove that clip. So not a hard job at all. I'll do a better overview here in a minute. All right, so reinstalling, let me try to lift this up. So this thing does spin back in, and you can tilt this piece down as well. Get it spun all the way in. At least I think it was pretty much all the way in. We're gonna find out here shortly. This thing tilts too far one or the other direction. So that's about it. Let me see if I can get it all the way lined up. Now I'm gonna go back up and line it up with those two side parts, and then reinsert the little C-clip that came out on the back side. But I'm gonna get this lined up. May have to spin it in just a hair more, so just be mindful of your holes and that you spin this thing in or out as much as you need to get it lined up. All right, yeah, not horrible at all. I haven't buttoned them all up yet because I want to just show these H6s are going to go back in. But when you take this apart, you take out these two H6s, pull off this little C-clip back here just with some pliers. You just grab it and pull it off. And then once these bolts are out, you can lift this thing up. I'll just go ahead and take this out again, find my H6. I just barely finger tighted it, but it has some tension. I'm gonna put that one in there. But yeah, so once you do that, you'll lift this up. Let me see if I can do this sort of one-handed, and then tilt that down. And then this thing, spin it all the way out, spin the new one all the way in. Boom, bada bing! It was a hell of a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be, to be honest with you. But I did have to spin it all the way in. And then you kind of play with it to get it lined up just right. Oh, sensor. But yeah, so just get it lined up right and then reassemble. Pretty pleased with how easy that was. All right, not too bad. H6, lift the column up, pull your C-clip off, spin it out, spin it in. And now we have up and down. It looks like it basically stops itself at the C-clips. So it'll just go down to that C-clip and up to that C-clip. I don't think there's any really resetting it like there is with the Telescope feature. But they both work now. Not too bad, not too bad. Again, I don't think you have to pull this ductwork out. You definitely don't. I just really hate shit in my way. And I thought I was gonna have to drop the column or something, but I didn't. They didn't. So pretty straightforward. Back one, 2 bolts, pull it out, pull it in. Position your center rod in there. This one, 2 bolts, lift the column up, spin it out with the C-clip removed, then spin the new one back in. And everything's dandy. So quite easy. Anybody can do it. You do need an H6, a 10mm, and a Phillips head. And a pair of pliers to pull your C-clip off. But that's about it. Enjoy. All right, it's all back together. But I did something wrong, I guess. Didn't tighten something, so I'm gonna take it all back apart because I just noticed steering wheel's got a little bit of play now. Which sucks. But, you know, shit happens when you're working on fucking cars. So, all the way out. Yeah, I think something just didn't get torqued down all the way, unfortunately for Adam. All right, so a little better overview of disassembling this thing since I got to do it again. So you have got Phillips head right down here that I have not put back in yet because I realized that as I was putting this shroud back on. And then turn your wheel. You've got another Phillips head hiding right here. Pop that down in your magnet tray. Turn that wheel the other way. Hopefully I can just take off the shroud and not have to disassemble the bottom part again. Let me get my trim tool, where to go. So just pop this thing loose. Go ahead and turn off the wipers. You want to get it up and over the tilt telescope switch. And it might have been easier to do this with at least some of it out. Because now the shrouds are moving the doggone switch. But, so we're going to roll this all the way out, take the shrouds back off, and see what Adam did wrong. So what is loose? Maybe, yeah, it's just flexing. I didn't get those H6s torqued down enough. They were tight. So I'm just going to go back through and torque them again. Don't know to what specs. It's going to be Guten tight. All right, so found the problem. Do not try to just keep torquing these. One step I missed because I didn't know any better. This old one, old tilt motor, has these little brown spacers. You need to remove these. Luckily you can just pull these back out. Because I tried to torque mine down and I damn near pretty much stripped one of these bolts, I had to hammer it in. But you can just lift it up and then place that spacer in there. So I need to place it in the other side. I'm trying to balance this with my head. Oh, I'm gonna need two hands for this one, so yeah, but don't forget your spacers. I'll try to put back in the video a note in the middle of this.